Okay, so it's September and that means that the weather's starting to get cooler, the trees are starting to get orange, and for Apple fans, that means new iPhones. Now, Apple recently sent out invites for their annual September event, which means it's only in a couple of days, which means by now we have a lot of credible leaks and rumors. So let's talk about what's coming up. Okay, so this September we're mainly expecting 3 new products: the AirPods Pro, the Apple Watch, and the iPhone 15. Now, starting off with the AirPods Pro, it should be a pretty small update, nothing too big. In fact, the only update we're actually getting is the USB-C port on the bottom. Everything else is going to be the exact same because we just got an update last year. Now, the second product, the Apple Watch, is also going to be pretty small updates. Not anything as small as the AirPods Pro, but at the same time, it's still going to be pretty insignificant for most people. So first of all, what models are we getting? So we're not really expecting the SE this year, but instead we're just expecting the Series 9 and maybe an Ultra 2. Now, the main upgrade we're expecting on both of these is one, the chip upgrade. So this is actually going to be pretty big compared to the past few years, because the past few years have been all on the same platform. But this year's S9 chip is actually supposed to be on a new platform, which enhances efficiency and also battery life. And aside from that, we're also expecting to get new colors on the actual Apple Watch body. So on the regular Series 9, we're expecting to get some sort of pink. And on the Apple Watch Ultra, we're expecting to get space gray or space black or something along those lines. Now, these seem like pretty small updates, but this is because we're expecting the main update of the year to be the iPhone 15. And this year, there's supposed to be some really big changes to the iPhone 15. And one of the main ways we know this is because the invites for this year actually hint towards a lot of the new features we're expecting in the new iPhone 15s. Now, in the invite, we see an animation of a lot of dust flying around the Apple logo, and this dust is coincidentally very reminiscent of the dust that we see with titanium. Now, titanium is coincidentally supposed to also be featured on the iPhone 15 Pro this year, so I don't know, a lot of coincidences there. But also coincidentally, this is the exact colors that we have been seeing being rumored to be on the iPhone 15. But yeah, that's a lot of coincidences, and I think, and a lot of other people in the tech community do think, that the iPhone 15 is going to be the main showstopper this year. So let's take a look at some of the main features that we are going to see on the iPhone 15. So anyways, it was really sunny outside and we're back inside, and where were we? Oh yeah, the iPhone 15. So the iPhone 15 is supposed to be one of the biggest changes in many years this year, and that's partially because the last couple of years, the iPhone updates have been pretty dry. The iPhone 14 base was like pretty much the exact same as the 13, but like on the Pro, we got the dynamic island and always on display, and that was pretty much it. We didn't really get anything too special, and same with the 13. We got better battery, better screens, and better cameras, and that's pretty much it. Nothing too big in terms of design or actual functionality or anything. But this year, we actually get a bunch of new features. So first of all, the biggest feature for me personally is USB-C. So if you're watching this video right now and you had no idea what USB-C is, let me explain. So if you own an iPhone right now, you probably know what this wire is. This wire is a lightning wire and it charges your iPhone. Now, lightning cables nowadays come like this. So you have a lightning wire right here, and you have USB-C right here on the other side. Now, if you own an iPad or a MacBook, you probably have a wire like this, or even on an Android phone. So you have USB-C on one side and USB-C on another side. Now this wire is what you're going to start getting on your iPhone. Well, kind of, we'll get into that in a minute. But this wire is essentially what you're going to be using with your iPhone, and not the lightning anymore. This is partly in thanks to the European Union forcing all companies, but mainly Apple, to adopt USB-C on all of their rechargeable devices. And now, I'm not a big fan of governments like forcing companies like that. I mean, I can only imagine how it was at Apple HQ the day that the law got passed. But at the same time, this is going to be super convenient, especially for somebody like me that has a tablet and a laptop that use USB-C, and even my camera uses USB-C. So basically my AirPods and my iPhone are the only things that don't use USB-C in my house. And well, those getting USB-C too will mean like if I'm going traveling or to school or something, I would only have to carry one charger, which is very convenient. And this is going to be the case for like probably hundreds of thousands or more people. But aside from that, you do unlock a couple of good features with USB-C. Now one would be fast data transfer and charging speeds. Now on the base iPhone, we are going to be limited to just normal speeds that we get right now, which are like okay, but they're relatively slow compared to Android phones. So on the Pro phones, we are going to get faster speeds for both data transfers and also charging speeds, which is great because once again, Android's been way ahead of Apple for years in this. So it would be great if Apple actually did implement faster speeds for transfers and also charging. Now there's another change that I kind of mentioned earlier, and this change is that the chargers are changing. So now we actually get longer chargers, and they're color matched, and best of all, they're braided. Now this is going to be great because a lot of people are going to love this because one, well, they're color matching, so it's very aesthetic, but also that they're braided, so that means they're more durable and more practical to use compared to the current chargers that Apple gives. I know that the current plastic chargers are actually quite easy to break over time. My MacBook charger is 2 years old and that's coming apart now too. And I think the new braided cables are going to be a great touch. But anyways, that's enough for about charging. Let's move on to the design changes that are coming because there are going to be some pretty big redesigns. Now, the first main change that we heard about is, well, right now we have very sharp edges on the edges of the iPhone. And they're planning on making these like curved. So essentially, we are still gonna have flat sides, but the edges right here are gonna be a bit more curved, and this is gonna be easier and more comfortable to hold in your hand. Along with this, we're also expecting thinner bezels. So this is gonna be more sleek, more modern of a look. Now on the Pro phones, we're actually supposed to get bezels that are so thin that they're gonna be one of the thinnest bezels in the smartphone market right now, which is, I think that's going to be really sleek, and I can't wait to see how that turns out. Now along with this, another Pro phone redesign that we're getting is, well, right now we have stainless steel on the edges of the Pro phones, and as you can see, they're thumbprint magnets. Like, you can smudge them really easily, and they pretty much only look nice for like the first 20 minutes after you buy them, and after that they do get like smudged and they don't look great. So to fix this and also make the iPhone more lighter, they are adding a new titanium frame, and this is supposed to be lighter, but at the same time titanium is pretty expensive, which is one of the big reasons why we're getting a $100 price bump in the new iPhones. Now it is said that we are going to start at 256 gigs as the base price, but that doesn't change the fact that the base price is going to be more inaccessible for people, since it is going to be jumping up $100, which is going to be like $150 in Canada and like probably even more in other places where the currency isn't doing too well, like Europe or Asia. So that's going to be a pretty big jump. Now all the big redesigns aren't actually coming only to the Pro phones, but we actually have a lot of big things from the Pro phones coming down to the base phones too. Now for starters, we are getting the dynamic island from last year's 14 Pro coming to the new iPhone 15 and 15 Plus base phones. This is something that a lot of people love, and I personally think it's pretty cool too. It's something that seems really fun to use, and I think a lot of people are gonna buy the 15 just for the dynamic island and nothing else. Now one last feature that they're bringing down to the base phones is the frosted back from the Pro iPhones, which is now coming and replacing the glossy back on the regular iPhones. So this frosted back is matte, and it does have, well, a more premium look and finish to it, which is cool, and I am gonna miss the glossy phones because in my opinion they do actually look a bit nicer, but at the same time I think this is gonna look more premium, and I can't wait to see all these premium features come down to the base phones. Now another design feature that's coming only to the Pro phones this year is the action button. Now you may ask, what's an action button? And that's a fair question because, well, smartphones don't really have action buttons, and iPhones have never had them either. Now this is something that came exclusively to the Apple Watch Ultra last year, and now it's being carried over to the iPhone Pro models, and this essentially replaces the mute button right here. So this key feature of the iPhone that's always been here. So this is essentially going to be a programmable button which can be programmed to do different features in your iPhone, such as even mute your phone or open the camera app, open a specific app, or even maybe like do a specific action on your phone. It's something that we're gonna still have to see when it comes out, but I think it's a really interesting concept and not a lot of phones have this right now. Now that covers up a lot of our design changes. Now we do have one big thing left, and that's the camera. And the camera does actually get a lot of appreciated changes this year. And let's start off with the base models. So the base models are expected to get 48 megapixel main cameras that were only on the Pro last year. And aside from that, the ultra wide is expected to get small changes here and there as usual, but nothing too big, nothing macro or anything, or as far as I know. But I think it's still pretty cool to see 48 megapixel cameras come, although you can't really use it much because it does get lowered down to 12 anyways, and the base iPhones don't really have raw capability to like actually use the 48 megapixels. So essentially just a bit sharper pictures. Now another really cool feature that's coming to the Pro camera this year is, well, periscope camera, and this is going to be used to take pictures with I'm guessing between 5 to 10 times zoom, although there's not really a exact figure of what times we're going to get. But I think this is going to be really useful for a lot of far zoom pictures, especially for taking pictures of objects, landscapes, buildings that are really far away. Like one specific example that I have is, well, I live in Vancouver, BC, and there's a lot of nice mountains here. I can actually see mountains from my bedroom where I'm sitting right now. And there's a lot of nice landscapes, but sometimes you want to take pictures, and the 3x lens does not do justice. That's why a lot of people are going to love this new periscope camera. However, due to the size it takes up, this year we're only going to get it on the Pro Max and not even the Pro. So I think the Pro, although it already sells pretty less compared to the Pro Max, this year it's going to be like pretty much non-existent in the lineup thanks to, well, this new periscope lens. And I think the Pro Max is going to be the showstopper for the new iPhone 15 Pro lineup. Now along with this, we also do get some smaller changes such as battery, which is going to be appreciated because a lot of people did have battery problems last year with the iPhone 14. And along with this, as usual, we get new colors on the phones. And this year we get pretty colorful colors. I think the colors are nice. It's cool to see such a vibrant palette. Now we also got 4 new colors on the Pro phones. And 2 of them are space black and silver like we had last year. And the other 2 are going to be Titan gray and a specific type of blue that, well, it's kind of confusing. Now let's start off with the Titan gray. Titan gray is supposed to be reminiscent of the natural color of titanium. It's an interesting color. We're gonna have to wait to see. I think it's just like how the old space gray used to look. And the other shade of blue looks pretty close to what we had with Pacific blue on the iPhone 12 from what the leaks show us. And I don't know, man. I mean, like, that color, I personally didn't like it. I was more of a fan of the other blue, the Sierra blue that we got after that. But either way, it's an old color. I don't think a lot of people are going to be big fans. I think the Titan gray is going to be an interesting one to see. I think that's what's going to sell the most along with black. But yeah, that's all the colors we're getting. I'm surprised that we're not getting gold this year apparently, because I think gold was pretty cool. It was more of a premium look for your phone. But I guess not enough people were buying it, which is probably why Apple discontinued gold. Either that or it's hard to make it with titanium. It'll be interesting to see what they do. But anyways, that's all for the iPhone 15 and, well, the whole Apple event in general. And I'm curious to know if you're planning on buying anything. Are you buying the AirPods Pro? I know I am probably myself because, well, USB-C everything. But are you buying the AirPods Pro or the Apple Watch or the iPhone? I want to know what you guys think about all of these new releases, and make sure to comment that down below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more future videos. And I'll see you in the next video.